Speaking from the public at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 7, but before that, Commissioner Garcia has the webpage loaded with the commissioner's name, so if there's no objection, we can do a roll call for the minutes.
All right. President Fidel is here. Vice President Jonino.
Excused.
Commissioner Arellano. Commissioner Castillo. Late. Commissioner Flores is here. Commissioner Garcia, I'm here. Commissioner Mark's not here. Commissioner Hope Garcia is here. Commissioner Jimenez is here. Commissioner Khalid is here. Commissioner Lopez is here. Commissioner Mancia is here. Commissioner Ochoa is here. Commissioner Torres. That's it. Commissioner Christie Ruba is here, and Commissioner Brown. We have everything except for
What's for?
So we're at 14 now.
Did you get assistance? New assistance?
Well, let me welcome our new Commissioner Assistant of Student Outreach.
Hi.
Let's go over it. Assistant Frosto. There it is. Assistant Lorenzo is here. Assistant Montoya. Assistant Marion. Assistant Gonzalez. Well, Assistant Kim. Assistant Allegria. Good. That's our assistants.
Okay, perfect. Moving on now to item 7, communications. Dean of Student Services. That needs to be consolidated still. This is the format of the old agenda, but a report from Student Affairs Office. Asia?
Did you get a report? Did you get a report? They emailed it to me one second. I thought they were going to turn it over.
Do you want to just go on to the executive report first? And then come back?
I had it right here. Sorry. Just wait for it. We still need students for the State of Education, which is next week. It's on March 31st at 11 a.m. So if you're interested, I know some of you have emailed me with your interest. If some of you are interested still, let me know. So those students would be sitting on the stage representing the student body. The last Safe Zone workshop is tomorrow. I did send out an email reminder today. Remember that class is, or that workshop is in SS 140. It's not in this room. And we're still looking for volunteers for commencement. The budget committee is meeting once again this Friday. And the Falcon games are this week, so I hope to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. Okay, so moving on now to the ASCC President's Report. So Vice President Jonino is not here today. He had some personal things to take care of. April 27th, the draft for the official Cerritos College social media guidelines is going to be presented to the coordinating committee. Today I was in coordinating and they presented it, so the coordinating is going to have a week to look it over. On 27th, they're going to revisit that. Also, Commissioner Castillo expect that on Thursday, Public Affairs is going to be visiting during public forum for ICC. They're going to be informing the clubs that every club on campus is going to be required to fill out a social media administrative agreement. Now, this is important because they need to start tracking all of the entities online that represent the college. So for your club, they're going to be required to fill this out. If not in a certain amount of time, I believe you won't be able to be a club. So we'll be working in conjunction with public affairs, student affairs. And so keep on the lookout for this. This is to help police and maintain social media websites that indeed represent the college. So expect them Thursday for public forum. Also, I have some, I've been thinking as the year's coming to an end that, yes. It's still in works, so it's not solidified yet. So once this is official and the coordinating committee approves it, then it's going to be distributed. No, this is administrative, so we don't have a say, unfortunately. I mean, we have a say, but as a body and whatever we vote, I'm sure it will be taken into consideration. We can agendize this if,
I'm just concerned in terms of, ability to have public forum, to protect our regulation. Right. Just because they're going to be monitoring everything they're going to put up there. That's an essential good, but it's the first time they announced it, that in itself is about the sharing our rights.
yes, so you'll see here and here, I can pass this around. This is a draft of the Pseudo Scholar social media guidelines that entail your concerns. And then this is also the procedures in which it's going to be held out. Would you like to look at it? And pass that around, please, after you're done. Okay, so the semester is indeed coming to an end, Cabinet. Thinking over spring break, I think we need to do more events together and really enjoy this last semester, because this is going to be the last time that we're all going to school together. And we started thinking about it, last 7 weeks or so is pretty significant. So feel free to throw out ideas. We can even agendize this and figure out what we want. I think originally I wanted this in the beginning of the year, but it was just too hectic. A barbecue, beach day, fundraiser at Buffalo Wild Wings. Like a fancy dinner where we all get dressed up as Cabinet and go out and have a good time. And then also what I'm really going to push for is official pictures for Cabinet, Senate, and Court, so we can hang them up here and people can know what the year 2014, 2015 did for this institution. And so keep on the lookout for that and start thinking of ideas of anything that you want to see Cabinet do these last couple months. State of education, as AJ mentioned, this is an excellent opportunity to be on stage and represent the student body. I think we need around 30 students, so contact AJ if you're interested. That's Tuesday the 31st, next Tuesday. Alex Padilla will be there, and your former colleague, or your colleagues, PTK, Phi Theta Kappa, Sarah, Eddie, Joe, and Alejandra, I think will be presenting the C4 project. So go out and support them, and you can also sit on stage and represent ASCC. I have a long report today, guys, so bear with me. Hydration station. So over the break, yes, I was still here, unfortunately, working. I met with Shannon, who's the facilities manager, and we went through the campus and he gave me an update about hydration stations. A little disappointing, but nonetheless, we're progressing forward. So some of the locations for hydration stations, they could not work because of the plumbing that's in the wall, and it would just be more of a burden to go and redo all that plumbing. And so there have been some alternative locations picked. The Go Green Committee selected the ID Center, right? So right next to the ID Center is a water fountain. That one's not going to work because of the plumbing and because also the hydration stations, they're not weather resilient. They just don't work outside for whatever reason that is. So that's getting moved into the the science building where the biology is all at, on that bottom floor, right by the bike racks, next to business education. Business education is also going to get a hydration station. And yeah, pretty much sums it up. The purchasing order has been put through, which at the institution is always the big burden to get things done because it takes a long time here. I'm sure Chief Police Tom Gallivan can validate that. So we're on our way. That's an update of hydration stations. Spirit Day, Commissioner Khalid and your assistant, if you could please prep a report for that on today's Spirit Day. Earth Day is coming up, April 22nd. Go Green has been working diligently and in conjunction also with a couple other professors on campus. And so get ready for that. We're trying to make it bigger, better, and stronger. ASCC and board meeting, that's on our agenda today. Safety walk, yes. Student Equity Committee meeting, I've chosen, I think Senator Villalobos is here, Student Trustee Flores, and 2 other individuals to serve on that committee. Commissioner Ariana, right? Okay. And so that's going to be taken next week, and I'm waiting for the official times to be relayed to me from Dr. Johnson, okay? So give me some time here. ACC webpage, I went on it last night actually, and Vice President Kiwa, I think, AJ? Sorry, former Vice President Kiwa, he's been working on it, and it looks fantastic. So if you get a chance, go online and look at it. It's really improved, it's organized, it's quality, and it really represents our organization at a professional level. Falcon games are this week, Mr. Cerritos is this week. PTK is pushing me to compete for Mr. Cerritos. I don't know if I'm going to do it, but we'll see what happens. Also, the Go Green Committee tackled our third goal. I'd like to thank Commissioner Communications and Fine Arts, Jose Garcia. One of our goals this year was to increase the publicity. And so our banners are officially in. We're going to be hanging these in the quad on the light poles. Roots of sustainability. And so we're attacking our third goal this year. This is how it looks. And they're double-sided also. Pretty awesome. So thank you. Oh, the light posts in the quad. Sometimes they have banners up there, so we're gonna hang this. So it's gonna look awesome. And that's my report. Sorry everyone for the long report. Thank you so much for listening. Not like you have a choice. ASCC Vice President report. Joe Nito's not here today. Party whip report. Ms. Sanchez.
Yes, hi everybody. So in Senate they said that the money that we had approved, $50,000, has officially been moved from the reserves. Videos of the presidential candidates are online on the Board of Trustees website. You can also fill out the surveys that they have on the candidates, so after you watch it, our input's greatly needed, so go ahead and do that. We approved of the Wilderness Club to go to Big Sur for $2,000. We approved of the Assistant Commissioner of Student Outreach. And the presidential veto, it was voted 14-7-6, so the legislation died. The rest of the meeting was postponed so that we could attend the presidential forum. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Party Whip Sanchez. Felt like I should have said that. Moving on now to item 8A, not Falcon Games. It was amended and approved to have item 9A, Project Safe, before that. So Chief Police Tom Gallahan and Miss Dr. Hilly Cook, you guys are up. What do you want?
Okay.
If you could please go right here.
Right in the middle?
Yes, sir.
Well, first off, I want to thank you for having me and thank Dr. Manella for inviting me. The topic she's going to get into detail is Project Safe, and this is dealing with crimes, dealing with dating violence, domestic violence, stalking, and sexual assault. And basically, my message I wanted to get out is you have a full-service police department here. And as law enforcement, sexual offenses, violent offenses are often repeated offenses. So we're always going to encourage you to report these offenses. We also know as victims of sexual assault, it's very traumatic and very difficult, and some victims don't want to report this. And we understand that. But some of the services we provide, fortunately, here at Cerritos, crimes of violence are almost non-existent. We've had a few cases, if someone reports a sexual offense that occurred outside of our jurisdiction and they want to report it, we'll facilitate that, whether it's contacting that agency or driving them to that department. But again, as law enforcement, we're going to always encourage victims to report their crimes and get predators off the streets. With that being said, I want to be very clear, the most important person in this whole discussion is the victim. And a lot of victims don't want to report that. That's fine. We're going to get the victim through Dr. Manella and her services the help they need. So my message is reported, but the most important person is the victim, and that's who we're going to look out for and provide the resources. So if they don't want to report it criminally, that's fine. We can have Project Safe and Dr. Manella's shop look into it. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Manella.
Hi.
Dr. Manila, just so you know, I'm going to count down the minutes left for this agenda item, so you
Okay.
can finish your thoughts in a concise manner.
Okay, great. Hi, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Manella. I'm the Interim Associate Dean at Student Health. Just to piggyback on what Tom was saying, if you feel or if you have a friend that feels uncomfortable with a situation, instead of pushing it aside and saying it's probably nothing and burying it until the problem becomes bigger, it's better just to come either to someone that you trust, a professor, us at Student Health Center, or the police department, and we can help you work through that.
Project SAFE is our initiative here on campus to help prevention and awareness on what dating violence, domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking, and sexual harassment is. Some of those items, they overlap, so it can be a little confusing, but the bottom line is if you feel uncomfortable with what's going on or off campus, come and let us know. Over at Student Health Services, we are mandated reporters for child abuse and elder abuse, but if you come to us with, let's say you had a sexual assault on or off campus, we are not required to report it. So your situation is confidential with us at Student Health Services. I also wanted to let you know here on campus, Barrett Morris is our Title IX coordinator. He's in Human Resources. I don't know if any of you know who he is. If you feel uncomfortable by someone in class or you feel that you can't continue with your studies here on campus, Barrett Morris in Human Resources is the person that you want to contact and let him know about this so that we can make arrangements for you so that you can continue your studies going forward. There's nothing we haven't heard at Student Health Services. All of our nurse practitioners are trained in Title IX and Project SAFE. I personally have an emergency room background. We have counselors there. If you don't feel comfortable seeing a nurse practitioner, you can see a counselor. Our services are walk-in. If you do want to see a counselor, you should make an appointment, but we can make accommodations if you just feel like you need to get something off your chest and you need to see someone. If our counselor is booked, we can have you wait until we can fill in a hole for you to get in and see someone. Are there any questions about Project SAFE? About how to go about on campus using resources to report any sexual assault, domestic violence, dating, stalking?
What resources are you using to advertise this?
Well, these are online, both at the police department link and student health services link. You can click on and you'll see the link for it. These are at our student health center. They're also in different divisions. I've passed them out to certain classes that have asked me to come speak or clubs. Also different faculty members have asked me so that they can keep them in case, we're not the only ones that people feel like they can come talk to you. You may not feel comfortable coming to talk to student health. You may have a good relationship with a professor that you'd want to disclose something. Just to let you know though, most people on campus are mandated reporters and won't be able to keep that confidential. With student health, we can keep it confidential. So you just have to be aware of that. So if you disclose something to, say, a trusted professor, they have to report it. We're also planning on doing a Project SAFE Fair starting in fall of 2015 when all the new students are here. We're always out on Falcon Square with information. This month it was on Tuesdays. Any other questions? Yes?
Do you have male counselors as well?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Male counselors.
We don't have male counselors. Everyone is female right now. And then, you know what, I did want to bring up too, a lot of times when people think of sexual assault or harassment, domestic violence, dating violence, stalking, they think it's just a crime against women. It's a crime against men too. That it does happen to men. We've seen it in student health services. I've seen it in the emergency room. So that is a myth. And we want the message to be out there that it's anybody who feels uncomfortable, whether you're male or female. Anybody who's been assaulted, anyone who's been harassed, stalked, or in a domestic violence relationship. We've had same-sex relationships that they've had domestic violence experiences.
We have an avenue to enforce if we have someone that is a male and they would rather speak to a male.
So I work closely with Tom's group. He has one female on
Right.
here, and then the rest are male. So we always offer that. If they'd rather speak to a male, then we can correlate with Tom. I do have one counselor who works at the VRC who is male.
Exactly what I was trying to say.
Yeah. So I know I could always utilize his services. However, he is not here full time. Right. So, we'll do the best that we can to make the victim feel more comfortable. Anybody else?
Where's your office at? Where's the student health center? I don't know.
We're hidden. No one knows where we are. We kind of are. We're over by the weight room in the far corner by the pool. The soccer field's behind us.
Alpha Wellness Center.
I'm sorry?
You know where the
Alpha
weight,
Wellness Center.
Yes.
the gym playground thing is?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
It's
it's
right
right
across
across
from that.
That's right.
And we will be in the building, we're going to be moving up in front of, by the gym, by the parking lot, but that's not for another 3 years. Good question. So if any of you ever have any questions or need Tom or myself to come speak to any of your clubs or your classes on Project Save or anything that you feel that it would be a good resource for your fellow classmates, let us know. We'd love to come out and help. I mean, we want to disseminate this information. We want to be the faces for the students to know you can come to us and you can confide in us if you need to.
Would it be possible to get like a nice stack of these so we can place them in our office?
We sure can. Want me to give them to AJ or?
Yes, please.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Let's give a big round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Hillary, the public has one question. If
Oh, I'm sorry.
you wouldn't
I
mind.
was just gonna mention, we had them as guest speakers also at the safety workshop for Alexa. And one of the unique things also was the Title IX coordinator mentioned that in some schools, there are actually student advocates, student care advocates. And this is basically where students have their phone numbers available and students can talk to students. The title coordinator is gonna look into it, and I'm actually gonna have him and our chief of police on my radio show on May 5th as well.
Great.
Awesome. Thanks for that. Moving on now to item 8B. Falcon Games, informational discussion. Commissioner of ICC, Selema Castillo, will inform the Executive Cabinet about Falcon Games.
All right, guys, hi. Yes, so, real quick, if you guys are not aware of like the Falcon Games, just a little back history of how it started. 3 years ago, this will be the 3rd annual anniversary. 3 years ago, Commissioner Interclub Council, which was Abner Higua, he worked along with students and we came up with the idea of Falcon Games, which is kind of, a 3-part series. So this is unique to our campus because the college has Falcon Games as we do. So they broke it up into 3-day event. The first being the academic decathlon, the second day being the physical games, and the third being the video games. So kind of competition between clubs in different categories, very fun. So and after Abner was done, Charles Higua came after him and he pulled it off again. And so now it's my turn as Commissioner of Interclub Council. We're looking forward to this. I have a great committee who has been working with me. So we have everything, all the logistics set out in place. We have 21 clubs who are participating. So that's great. We have just given out the clubs their flags to make flags to be represented out there. I do have the sign-in sheet. I do have a committee, but if you guys would like to participate and help the day of, to help in any way, I would be appreciated. I'll pass out the 3 sheets. Again, this week, tomorrow will be the academic decathlon at 6 p.m., 6 to 7:30 in LC 155. And the physical games will be Wednesday, March 25th, the next day from 12:30 to 2 p.m. in the athletic field right here. And we also have the video game, which will be Thursday, March 26th from 11 to 12:30 in Falcon Square. So if you guys are available, if you guys are not participating, if you guys want to help out, it would be a great event. You guys don't want to miss it. So,
Are there any questions at this time?
yes, any questions?
How many clubs are participating?
Yeah, you have a good turnout.
All right, a little pop quiz. Who's paying attention? Commissioner Christie, what time is the event tomorrow?
From 11 to 12:30.
You were sure about that too. Commissioner Castillo, do you care to?
It's tomorrow at 6 p.m. is the academic decathlon.
Oh,
So that'll be fun because they're we set it up different, a little different this year, so we're very excited about it. My assistant Joey, he's worked hard on this. I let him he take the lead on this. He's the chair for the academic decathlon. He's very excited. He's doing great. He broke it out. It's gonna be a good one.
Yes, oh yeah, I told them, yeah, the room change is the LC 155.
That's
So-
where it was first.
Yeah.
Commissioner Lopez, what's the room number? Hey.
Gold star.
Assistant Commissioner Montoya, what are the 3 events?
The academic, the physical, and like video.
Excellent, okay.
And if you guys, I know you guys have seen the video on YouTube, it is from 3 years ago, the first one. Unfortunately, we weren't able to make one last year, but this year we got the same Vivian Ortega, who was the one who did our video. She's gonna make another video, so if you guys want to come on the video, you guys have to show up. It'll be fun, it'll be good to have us out there. And like I said, it's very unique to our campus. Yeah, yeah, so it's very unique to this campus that we're the only ones that have this. And it was something that students put together and they carried on that torch. Okay, like this is the logo, comes from the Falcon Games, right, Adrian? This is the logo? This is the logo for the Falcon Games. So it's stayed on. Yeah, so this, it came from, the students made this, 3 years ago, so it's pretty awesome.
So as the executive cabinet, it's kind of, our responsibility to keep this tradition going, and it's fun. I was there last year and I didn't participate, but it's a real fun competitive event where clubs go at it and create school spirit. Very good event. Any other questions before we move on? Assistant Commissioner Good?
Just a quick count. Quick count. How many of you are actually participating in any of the events? One. Yay! Cabinet.
Okay, Commissioner Flores, what event are you in?
I will be in the academic decathlon and physical games.
Okay, so represent as well. Salema, anything else?
No, that's it, thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Castillo and Assistant Commissioner. Moving on to item 8D, hydration stations update. I kind of went over this in my report, so unless there's any objections, can someone entertain the motion to strike it?
Actually, I need to leave right now, so I make a quick point about Spirit Day and then because I have to leave off. So I really
Bring up, leave it to, if your assistant would bring up commissioner reports.
That's what I was going to recommend. Someone entertain the motion to move item 9 on the agenda next.
I'd like to,
I'm sorry. Commissioner
10.
reports is awesome. It's numbered. Okay, is there a second? Second by Party Whip Sanchez to move Commissioner reports next. Are there any objections? There can be objections. Seeing none, we will go into Commissioner reports next, starting off with Commissioner Clee.
Okay, so today was a great event. We had, this is our second Spirit event, but it turned out better than the first. And so the clubs out there included iFalcon, Metcha, Veterans Club, and a few others as well. Campus Police was also out there. I actually met them the week before, and they were like, yeah, we want to be out there. And that's really great because it lets students know that we are taking their safety seriously. So we had a lot of students stop by the meeting and, get pamphlets and all that. So that was really great. I really want to thank Sarah, Valerie, Hope, Dennis for coming out there, and of course my new Commissioner Almeida for being out there. I'm really glad to see that cabinet members are supporting this event because this is not for me, this is for all the students that are out there. We want to know that, hey, we are out there to support them and give them all that we can.
Commissioner Mencia as well, right?
Mencia, did I not say your name? No, of course, yes. I wrote you on the name, of course, and Michelle, I wrote your name. I wrote your name, thank you. And of course, Michelle, I should be with you. But, no, I'm really glad, because she also, she helped a lot. Michelle was like one of the first ones there, so I'm really happy that she's there. But I hope to see every one of you out there for the next Spirit event. That's going to be on April 13th, on Monday. So please write that down. We're going to start planning for that next week. So
What's the date? The date?
April 13th, on Monday. Yes. 11. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Khalid. Real quick question, would it be possible to move that date to the nearest Thursday?
The nearest Thursday?
I feel like we get more traffic on
We
Thursdays.
could do that.
What?
Should we make that note on the main sign outside?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that.
Is there any concerns about moving the date to the next Thursday? I feel like, it's Thursday, weekends coming, more is popping in school. Is that the next day?
April 16th, yes.
Oh.
So if the runouts happen, it would be nice.
More the merrier. Do you have any concern with that?
Could that be the theme, perhaps? We could, we could make it presidential theme.
Just encourage people to go out and vote.
Yeah, sure. Okay, great.
Commissioner Hickman, do you have any thoughts on
Would that work for you, Mister?
that? Commissioner.
She's like, did you?
So no thoughts on it? Moving it to the 16th, nearest Thursday?
I don't mind at all, actually. I have a class on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11, but my teacher has agreed to allow me to miss the last Thursdays of each month to go to ASCC Cabinet to help us here.
Okay, great.
So Thursday's fine.
So we'll have to make that change outside of the.
Let's make it official. Are there any objections to changing the next spirit date to April 16th? It is during presidential runoff elections if they do happen, but one there. No objections? Okay, we shall move that date to the 16th. Thank you, Commissioner Khalid.
And then point of person.
Grant, and then, okay, you want to step?
Yes.
Okay, moving on now, we'll go in chronological, order we always go in unless we want to go back into the agenda and get to commissioner reports later. Seeing now, we'll start off with Commissioner Hickman. You have the report today?
Spirit Day was awesome. We bought first some apples today. That was our event, and we made some gift cards available to the students. So seeing them all get super involved in shoving their heads in buckets of water and grabbing some apples out. Valerie and Hope actually, we all competed against each other, and Valerie got first place, and Hope got second place. So that was great. Yeah, so it was pretty competitive out there, and just seeing all the clubs, sell stuff and sandwiches for the Veterans Club and popsicles for iFalcon. It was a great atmosphere out there, and I hope that we continue to keep that.
Awesome. Thank you, Commissioner Hickman. Moving on next to Commissioner Budget and Finance.
Pretty much, the budget committees have been going on, pretty much every Friday. I just wanted to thank everyone that's been showing up to do it. It's been relatively hectic sometimes, and other times it's been very smooth. But it wouldn't happen without all the people that are there. There's Sample Miles is there, Ruben is doing a large, Senator Sedano, Senator Peter, it's coming right here. The staff, AJ, and Cynthia have been great. We've been seeing them pretty much from 1 to like 5:30, 6 sometimes on Friday. And I know they have to get rush hour, but they've been great, staying with us till we see it all through the end. So just thank you for that, guys.
Commissioner Garcia.
Good afternoon, everybody. As Maz already said, the banners came out really well, which is awesome. That we just completed. The other banners should be coming out. The student art exhibit should be coming out within another month, because we just adopted McDevitt, so we should be seeing those out soon. Those are completed, so that's an awesome thing. So we should be hearing about student art exhibit, which means that all the art pieces from all the different students should be coming out, handwritten from all the different art classes. So that should be a great example of some of the artwork coming out. We also have the Diversity Day, which is considered, we call the Art of Diversitas, which is Latin for diversity, and it's usually all the music departments, speech department, all the different art, and all the clubs, whoever can get involved, and we can form the 23rd of the month. And we're going to try to label it mostly on the right-hand side towards the FA building, and hopefully we can get the music department involved and try to get if we can help me with that, MJ, to try to get a platform put out so that we can actually have you guys up on it.
Where's the event?
It'll be at the other side of the Falcon, on Falcon Square, facing the FA building,
Oh, we don't.
so that we don't use up all of Falcon Square, so that it'll be on one side, so people can have their normal traffic on one side, so that we can use like the jazz band and stuff, and that during the day, people can see different events going on, from music and so on and so forth, so that throughout the day, people can see different types of artwork.
Also, I went to the Women's Veterans Summit this weekend, which was the fourth annual Los Angeles Women's Summit, which is actually a really interesting thing. I know some of you guys probably have heard of it before. I didn't know anything about it myself. And it's kind of interesting to know that this is something that people don't really see often. It's probably one of the youngest women in this summit. These women's ages go all the way up to their 90s. Believe it or not, I was one of the youngest veterans there, and it was a bunch of women from US Vets to iCare to all the different programs that they have out there in Los Angeles. And there's a bunch of women that have gotten together talking about the different programs that veterans have offered for women specifically and the different departments. And believe it or not, I mean, I gained a lot of valuable information in general. Also found out about different colleges around here and how our VRC, this is the biggest thing I just wanted to say, is that our VRC stands alone as one of the better VRCs in the area under PCC. PCC has the best VRC by far, but we have one of the better VRCs in the area, really colleges. So from what we've accomplished in the last year and moving over, we actually are notified to be one of the better VRCs in what we've done. So I just wanted to recognize what veterans have done and what we've accomplished this last year. So I just wanted you guys to know that that's something that we should realize and recognize that they've done it in the long way.
And Veterans Day.
And Veterans Day, yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia.
Commissioner Garcia, can you please talk to me about the logistics on your art day so we can make sure that you have all the resources you need?
I appreciate that.
Commissioner Brown, first report, sir.
Yes, sir. What I have is Secretary of State Alex Padilla. I'm looking at all saw this. It's on campus. He's going to be talking about different things when college success strategies to help students reach their educational goals, etc., etc. I don't know too much information on it.
That's the event where we need students to sit on stage for Tuesday, the 31st.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Brown. Moving on next to Commissioner Uba. No report? Okay, yes, sir. Commissioner Ariel. No report? Okay. Commissioner Flores.
I just want to comment on the social media guidelines. I have been working with Maya Walker and their committee on that. Just to clarify what it is. It's not that public relations will directly monitor the websites. We just want to have a database and have the people who do create the websites for Cerritos, since they are representing the college, to be accountable. To direct the traffic, because currently, like when we started, we had over 100 pages from of websites, Facebook, social media that were made by the clubs, teachers, etc. And we just wanted to make sure that, and some of them were not even being used anymore because the students transferred out. So that's why we had all these. That's why we decided to have social media. That's all.
Excellent. Thank you, Commissioner Flores. Commissioner Lopez, do you have a report today, please?
Yes. Okay, so really quick, I've been attending the Go Green meetings, and we have been trying to wrap up the whole Earth week. So just mark your calendars for now. I'm not going to go detailed on exactly what the week is until we get closer and closer to the date. But the week will be on April 21st till the 23rd. So just mark your calendars, and I hope to see you guys out there.
Excellent. Thank you, Commissioner Lopez. Commissioner Torres, do you have a report? Report. Thank you, sir. Commissioner Ochoa.
I have a question. For the student center roles, can I say it now or actually better? Well, actually, I have it now.
How long is it going to take?
I want like a conversation on it, but
We're going to have to postpone that. Because if you want a conversation, I mean, we can go through the commissioner reports and see where we're at with the clock. At 3? So if you want 10 minutes, it's not even 10 minutes right now until 3. Postpone it to next week's meeting. Unless you want to have someone here present it for you.
well, I guess Athena kind of knows, but I like to talk. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah.
Well, okay. we can do then is have someone entertain a motion to close commissioner reports, but then we're gonna have to reopen them up to finish. So we can do that if there's a motion on the floor. Are you abstentions?
Can we table commissioner reports until she's done with her,
Okay, granted, you do it, okay. Okay, so we can table the rest of the commissioner reports and then come back to it later, if there's no objections. Seeing none, okay, we'll jump to item 9B, student center rules, discussion action, 10 minutes. ASCC Cabinet shall discuss the possibility of taking action to display the student center rules in a visible location in the student center. Ms. Socha, what do you have?
Okay, hi guys. So like 2 weeks ago, Athena and some other people came up to me and they told me that there was a problem going on in the student center. She told me that 2 boys were sleeping in the student center and Lavelle, the guy that regulates like the people that are in there, kind of looks over everybody, told them something about it and they felt offended. Right? They felt offended. And
well, they
then,
weren't really kissing each other, it was like a friendly, like, kiss on the cheek.
yeah, so then Lavelle, yeah. So Lavelle told them like to stop that, and then I went to go talk to Lavelle, and he told me that that wasn't why he told them to stop. It was because they had their feet on our chairs and sitting right here, so they were like on, our property. And he was just saying that that's not why, blah blah blah. And I just think, and then they went and sat where he was sitting and kind of intimidating him, I guess. And Lavelle told him like, go sit back to where you were sitting, and they didn't want to move, so they were kind of with that. So there's nowhere in the student center that says like you can't do this and you can't do that. So I see where like the people are coming from, like why are you telling me what to do? Lavelle doesn't even have anything that kind of says that, but he's there and he's in there every day. So I just think we should put up a policy or rules up in there. I don't want to see where you guys come from. Everybody comes from a different background, and I get that. Everybody's like what they think is right. Some people find it wrong, and I understand that. But I found the policies in our book in here, so I highlighted the main ones.
Okay, what we can do is, I think it's an excellent idea to have those rules in a visible location, so in case that situation happens again, Coach Lavelle could say, well, Hank, here are the rules, and this is the policies. I can call campus police if I need to address this matter further. Commissioner Castillo.
Last year we had the same problem. We did put up rules and we put it on the table so that it was the same one.
Okay, well, can we like post it on the wall? We can't put it
Like legit
like
posting on the wall?
yeah. But would that have to go through Senate? Like they have to approve to put it on there? No.
If it required funding and if we chose to go out of that account, then yes. But for now, I think we can just do it in the office and laminate it and throw it up. Are you abstentions?
My input is for you to condense this, so it's sort of like the pool rules, where it says no diving, no running, no so-and-so stuff, so that when people do say, hey, you're not supposed to be doing that, it's on the rules, people will have sort of a guideline to say, okay, my bad. And there will be some sort of justification called campus police.
Well, I think that's an excellent idea, but I also think that we should have this up. This is indisputable, right? Like, this is what it is, but we can have that alternative form throughout the student center with these just summed up.
I heard we can't, like, I can't email. So, like, we couldn't just, like, I was trying to put these, like, kind of simpler terms, yeah. And they're like, no, put what it says in here.
Who said that?
I don't know.
Who said that?
Yeah.
Well, let's check with some higher up administrative figures to see if, let's talk to Dr. Contreras, the dean here, and see what he says. So I think that's an excellent idea, and I think it's, if they're bigger, just like at the pool, it's more noticeable.
It doesn't table it.
I definitely agree with what Dean. I think a lot of these are just common sense. I don't see the need of post all this, like,
Okay.
yeah, like, a lot of this is just common sense. Like committing sexual harassment. I think we should have like just the rules that like we would know, feet off the table, you can do that. But just have to narrow it down. I don't think any of these.
What
Well, Commissioner Ariano, and I saw Commissioner Ochoa's hand, and then Commissioner Garcia.
Okay, using the code of conduct, students should know them, like, what I think is the rules that we want to follow inside the students. Because all these are really good, yeah, they're common sense, because of our students. And they're in the code of conduct. So if we really want them to not do things, we should post those.
Commissioner Ochoa?
Like I said, most of the behavior in there is common sense. You don't do this, you don't do that. This is just saying, like for the, there's no lewd, indecent, or obscene conduct on district-owned or communal property. You know, that's just saying you can't have sexually, like, be on somebody or, like, obscene conduct. Engaging in physical or verbal disruption and intimidation or harassment. That's to, and it says that to the faculty as well. Like, you can't do that to faculty. Like, yeah, we can, like, you know, put it in separation. But I just got it from the book. That's just like general statement.
Like I said, I think we should do both. This
Yeah.
gets our back legally in all different aspects, and then we can sum it up, if that's even possible, with checking Dr. Contreras, and get those bigger rules throughout the student center. Commissioner Garcia?
What, I think I understand what you're saying, but like by legal terms of what these words say, that does not cover it. These words do not cover someone making out, kissing, or touching. Lewd, indecent, or obscene conduct does not cover those words. Those words do not cover someone sitting and touching somebody else in a context of an environment on school property. Those words don't cover that. They can do that. There's nothing against that. It would have to literally say that it would be of an inappropriate nature that would be considered to somebody else's it would have to make them feel uncomfortable. It would have to literally say something to that effect that would actually cause a discomfort to another individual, and nothing in there actually states that in any one of these.
Well, we can't really put that, like, you can't touch that person. You can't say that.
You have to show in this verbiage, it would have to show that it would cause somebody else undue
Commissioner Garcia?
harm or uncomfortableness.
Please.
You have to show undue harm or an uncomfortableness for it to be contexted as being inappropriate. For you to actually say that it was going against one of these verbiages, you'd actually have to come up with a new misconduct.
Well, this is,
Those don't cover
when
that.
rules are broken in the student center, it goes back to the dean, and then the dean makes decisions based on all of these. So I understand what you're saying, the verbiage might have to be a little bit more specific for certain situations. But lewd, indecent, or obscene conduct, I could see that encompassing some issues in the student center. So today, this was an excellent discussion. We can come back to this, and when we have Dr. Contreras here, he's out for the whole week, we can get his opinion on this and see what he thinks. I think that's the best route to go. Commissioner Knudsen.
I think it's cultural. I mean, for such a long time, they didn't want to do whatever they wanted there. There has to be some kind of, you can't just hold something and say, you know, it's common sense, but they know for a long time it's common sense, and they're still not abiding by it. There has to be a direct outline that says, if you do this, this is the consequence. Because if there's no consequence, there's no correction. Unfortunately, that's how it is. So for us to put this up there, yes, great, but we have to reinforce that, and that's a big issue we have to discuss. What matters, what's that, what you do, and how we can enforce that, and who's going to support that enforcement.
Excellent.
Who's there, who's going to be the dean, how we're going to escalate it, I think that's a big issue.
Excellent point. Can you have that in the minutes? Okay, so we have 2 minutes left in discussion. Is there a motion to extend time right now? So moved. So moved by Party of Sanchez. Is there a second? Second by Lopez. No objections. We shall extend time for 5 minutes.
And that is also Ochoa.
I want to say, I'm going to be late.
Okay, so extend time for 5 more minutes. On the queue, I have Commissioner Castillo, Hickman, and Garcia. Yes, sir.
That's like the problem we ran into last year, and we're doing this also, like, we had the rules, and we put them up, and then before, there was nobody there, supervising the students, so then we did, that now that there's somebody there, but still, that's the point, that the consequences, we never thought to play, the consequences, and it's always been the same issue, which is the gambling, for, you know, laying on the chairs and stuff like that. I mean, that's the first time I heard about contact, that there was a problem with that. But from previous, like, there is always the music and the dancing and laying on the chairs.
Next I have Commissioner Garcia.
So there's another way also to approach it.
Was that you? You had it.
Yeah.
I was referring to Dennis.
Okay, that person.
I can have you on the queue.
Bringing it back to the point on cool rules, that's really the right approach. I haven't heard of any like lewd behavior. Has that happened? I don't know. But I've heard. I guess gambling is the bigger problem. That's definitely something we can have in there. Gambling is just really already on its own illegal. So gambling, you know, sitting in the chair, like, you know, obviously not laying on the table, roast the other one. Loud music, no loud music, obviously, we can have that. No loud music as suggestion rules, but like, I guess kissing on the cheeks, well, that was the thing here, you know, whatever.
That's a part of it.
That's like,
Brought out the.
yeah, okay, well, I don't see that's the issue. I guess there's something on the table, but
Yeah.
bring brought it. Trying to get it, okay, well, that's all.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia.
Sitting on that chair wrong.
I was like, that's your fault. I was like, but the fact that you kissed around. Yeah.
Okay, Commissioner Hickman.
I know that Eileen said that Lavelle, the guy that was in there, has been placed in there to enforce the rules, but doesn't have anything to go by where he's, you know, getting responses from the students, and he also doesn't have something to say, no, it's not just me making these rules and saying that you can't do this, it's, you know, made by the school. So if we do have those rules up there, we do have that person in there to sort of regulate, if you will, and say, hey, you know, if you do these things, then you're not allowed to enjoy the, you know, things that the student center has to give, like the time that you guys get to go and like do your schoolwork and stuff. So if we have rules up there and we have Lavelle enforcing those rules with the guidelines backing him up, then I don't see any more of the, you know, stuff happening, because the consequences, you know, being as simple as you just don't need to be here. You know, if you're going to do these things, then you don't get to enjoy the space. And I think both of those put together form solver.
Thank you, Commissioner Hickman. There's a minute left in discussion. Is there a motion on the floor? Yes, we'll make a motion after. Real quick, Commissioner Ariano, quorum check? Okay, personal privilege? Granted. Kristen? Okay. You three ladies, you're not coming back? Are you coming back? Christine? Okay, so, quorum check, please, and one person is coming back. Lester?
For the quorum.
It's okay,
You
I don't
matter.
matter either.
Larry comes back.
Okay, quorum check, sir. Let's keep it going.
Okay, we're at 10.
Don't let them treat you like that.
10? 10, okay. Discussion has ended. Somebody entertain a motion to extend time for minutes.
We're good?
Yeah.
So moved?
Move to extend the time to 3 minutes.
Second. Is there a second to extend time for 3 minutes? Okay, any objections? Okay, Commissioner Ariano, you're up.
I'm looking at it as a enforcement, because we can post the rules, we can post the content, but there's nobody there to enforce it completely. Like, let's say, we have the person there to enforce them, but if they're not enforced all the way, it's still going to happen. Posting the rules and not posting them. Maybe we can have a campus police patrol once in a while, and we increase them to go in and out once in a while, and maybe that only students where that is from. And if a student doesn't follow the rule, we just kick them out. That's it.
I'm going to pause time to comment on that. That's an excellent point. Part of this brings up a bigger issue is that Coach Lavelle, he does not have a professional area to regulate it. There's no kiosk, there's no desk. He sits at a round table as if he's just in there as any other student or faculty member. So you're really bringing up a larger issue. And I think that's a very positive note, is that we're identifying issues in the student center that we should be addressing.
Maybe we can have a desk there.
Yeah, we can do a lot. We can fund to build one through Senate. We can do a lot. Excellent point, though, Commissioner. Please make sure that's in the minutes as well. Commissioner Garcia. Moving on to Commissioner Garcia.
Commissioner.
I think that, even though that these are, like we said, code of conduct, actual rules, I think that maybe there should be an adjustment in legislation, maybe that we should make a own code of conduct for the student center itself, set specifically for the student center that is actually legible or actually more literate for the students, because this is not something that every student at this campus can understand.
Okay, pause. Please have that in the minutes. If we can do that, because I know Commissioner Ochoa said we couldn't, she asked, but let's verify with an administrative figure.
Because I think that's what I'm trying to get at, is that this information is more lewd and more construed to what we may be at this table understand what it says, but some students here may not have the same understanding of what this information means, and we need to break it down a little more easier to say, do not put your feet on the furniture, do not kiss in public, do not show, do not gamble. And gambling is actually from 2011. There's actually legislation and a bill from 2011 that we have, that I did go over with Dahlia. There is actually one already out there for gambling. So that's actually already put into legislation. So there is no gambling allowed already. So we can actually have that information looked up on some of these already. But as far as a actual set standard of conduct, I think we should push it for Senate.
So in the minutes, and Dr. Contreras will have a lot to answer, but I can see from a student's perspective who is not as scholarly, this can seem a little bit ambiguous. So excellent point. Moving on to Commissioner Sanchez. Party with you.
Like that's what you had addressed earlier was one of my concerns, where the coach that's in there is not a strong authority figure. And the way that we can push these rules that we put up is having the proximity of authority around them. So maybe having campus police go in there, or some sort of set authority figure that will intimidate students to follow the rules. It's psychological the development that people are around. The proximity of authority is what makes people conform. So that also addresses what Dahlia was saying, where we need something to help us conform as well to the rules. Yeah.
And just keep in time, folks, of the, did I say keep in time? Keep in mind the time. It's 3:10. Garcia, Hickman. Is there anyone else? You're next. My discussion has ended.
I move for 4 more minutes.
If no objections, we shall postpone to 4 more minutes. What did I say?
You said postpone.
Extend. No objections. 4 more minutes. Castillo? Okay, there's an objection. Roll call vote to extend time for 4 minutes.
Can I do that?
Yes.
Can I be 1 minute break?
Yes. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hickman. Any confusion?
What?
Yes. Second by Commissioner Garcia. I did. Okay. The amended motion is to have 1 minute per speaker. Are there any objections to that? Are there any point of clarification as to what that means?
I'm not even blonde, dude.
Okay. 1 minute per speaker. Commissioner Castillo, you're up. Commissioner Garcia?
I think
Okay. Commissioner.
Yes, my point? Okay, so so what Athena said about having the authority figure in there, I agree, but at the same time, I kind of want our small staff police police doing other work than sitting in the student center and, you know what I mean, doing that. So I think that one of the consequences would have to be if LaBelle, you know, has got the guts or something, you know, really happens that is that bad where we need to call the student police, he's got to do it and not say that he's going to call, you know, the police and not call them, you know, and have it be an ongoing thing. It's got to be, you know, sturdy. This happened, so these are the consequences. They're being called, you know, type of thing. Whereas we don't need to have a police officer or Cerritos police officer, you know, manning the student center.
Please have that minutes to LaBelle to grow some guts.
No.
Don't put that in. Okay, next I have Commissioner Garcia. This Garcia. Dennis Garcia, and you?
And that's very well. Okay. All right, so is it possible to have another cadets like in the student center enforcing these rules? Like when we have cadets? Like, can we do it again?
Okay, let's keep it. Come on, we're almost done, guys. Keep it together. You can put that in the minutes, and we can. Unless AJ has any comment on that. No comment. Assistant Commissioner Mark. Or the Commissioner. I'm sorry. You deserve the proper recognition.
I think that all you need is obvious sign and maybe a desk for the guy to sit there, like let people know they are watched, and that's really enough. I don't think you need like an officer there or extra people. Just show that there's a, you know, the sign is, let them know there's a restriction inside the sign. I think that's enough.
Excellent point. That goes. That's going in the minutes. Next, I have Commissioner Hope Garcia.
I think that's another other way, because we don't want him to be LaBelle be pushy. Administrative action is another way, and by doing that, we have to talk to Gil.
He's got a lot to answer.
So, no, and what I mean by that is kind of like, you know, when you get in trouble and you're in school, send them to the principal's office. So instead of sending them to the principal's office, you send them to Dr. Gill. So if somebody decides, hear me out on this idea. Somebody decides that they want to do something wrong in the student center. They get in trouble, LaBelle takes their name down, they get their information, they give them a piece of paper, and they send them to Dr. Gill. They have a meeting with Dr. Gill to talk about what they did wrong, and have Dr. Gill take care of it. As a student leader, as someone who's, well, actually as an advisor and who's in charge of the student center, have him take care of the situation.
Excellent. I just got an idea. We could even have our court handle it to some extent. I think that
Exactly.
could participate as well.
That way it doesn't have to go way up here, but at our own level, we can take care of it. As an administrative idea, we can actually see fit and fixing our own problems in-house.
Excellent idea.
Yeah.
Commissioner Brown's next. Commissioner Brown.
The idea that I was thinking was, about was cameras that are directly hooked to the police department. So that way, if you have something out there stating, you know, these premises are patrolled via cameras by the police department, I think that might be a deterrent to somebody walking in the building and driving.
Please have that noted in the minutes. Cameras in there. Thank you, Commissioner Brown. Excellent point. Commissioner Hickman.
I feel kind of bad for Dr. Gill. All I was gonna say is that we should talk to him and see his feedback on all of this, and if he has room on his, big plate for dinner of if he's able to take this on, and or Hope's idea if that's able to be, or ask him if he's up for it before we hand all this to here you go.
All right. Are there any other speakers at this time? If there's no objections, I'd like to have this on next week's agenda as well. Seeing none, please make note of that in the minutes. That Student Senate rules will be on next week's agenda. And for the record, think about the context of the situation. This is something that has been an issue in the past for years and years. And thanks to Commissioner Ochoa, we're really unraveling a very large problem that we have the privilege and honor to fix. And we can do that. We have the time, we have the money. And so let's just, go forward with it. And with all the thoughts, move forward. This is a very positive thing. So thank you to Commissioner Ochoa for agendizing this. Okay, so we have some housekeeping things to do. We still have some on the agenda. Yes, we have. Okay, we'll go back to the commissioner reports, but before that, can someone please strike, or someone entertain the motion to strike item 8E, hydration stations update, since I kind of went over that in my report.
I move to strike 8D.
Second? Second by Commissioner Brown. If there's no objections, we shall strike item 8E. Seeing none, striked. Moving on now to the rest of the commissioner reports. Who was next in line? Yes, you're absolutely correct. Commissioner Garcia.
Motion to table the commission reports.
So moved.
Second by Steve.
Second. We shall untable commissioner reports and jump back into them. Assistant Commissioner of Public Relations, do you have a report?
Yeah, I'll be doing the report for Commissioner Lucia today. She said, Spirit Day went really well, and I was really happy to be there and be part of it. I do wish that there were more student government leaders out there advocating the ASCC. Please check your email and RSVP to iFalcon workshops going tomorrow. There will be free food. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Assistant Commissioner of Public Relations. Moving next to Commissioner Castillo.
Okay, just two announcements. One is this month's ASCC meeting, Thursday, is going to be canceled because we're going to be at the video games for the Falcon games, and we'll have one representative from each club helping that day to volunteer, so that our ASCC meeting is canceled for this one. Next one will be the next.
You don't want to have one the next Thursday?
We can talk about that. Maybe.
It's going to be during election.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else?
And then also, we're part of the hiring committee for the chief of police. Everyone has really crazy, hectic schedules. We finally were meeting March 31st. So, should be cool.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Garcia.
No report.
No report. Thank you, sir. The time now is 3:20. Unless we can extend the rest of the agenda, unless otherwise we can continue. Okay. So what we have on the agenda, let's take a look here. Item 8E, rules and regulations. Also, financial update has been, we have to go over that, okay. So, before that, is there a motion on the floor to postpone item 9C, financial update?
You already postponed it?
No, she asked, but we were in the middle of commission.
I move to postpone item 9C.
Financial update.
Financial update.
Second? Second by Commissioner Brown. Objections, we shall postpone. Item 9C is postponed. What else is on the agenda, Commissioner?
I also postponed item 8C.
9.
9 and 8C.
Okay. Let's just postpone the rest of the agenda. How about that?
Yes.
Someone entertain that motion.
I postponed the rest of the agenda.
Second by Party of Sanchez. If no objections, we shall postpone the rest of the agenda. Seeing none, the remaining items on this agenda will be postponed to next week. We can go over announcements real quick so you're well informed. Commissioner Garcia, can you please read those off?
Deadline to vote for the mascot by March 17th.
Let me comment on that real quick. A name has been chosen and an official announcement is coming.
It starts from then.
It starts with an F. Yeah.
Great.
Not necessarily.
No, maybe. Never know. That's not what I wrote it
Fill
for.
it, let's fill it.
Yeah.
Third with an F. Women's History Month essay contest. Breast Cancer Awareness Walk is the 24th tomorrow in Falcon Square, 11 a.m. Women's History Month event and forensics showcase.
Please go.
There's one woman right there, March 25th, 7:30. That's okay. The next cabinet meeting is March 30th, 2 p.m. Next court meeting is March 24th, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Next Senate meeting this Wednesday at 2 p.m. And I adjourn this meeting at 3:21.